Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coach's Corner, where we are doing for a couple of folks. We're still waiting on one of our guests and one of our coaches as well, because traffic has been pretty horrible where they're at. So we will. Oh, there you go. Show us the cat. Yes.
Oh, there he is. He's gonna keep hopping
Must
up.
have
We're
the
gonna
cat's
deal with it.
ass.
He's got
Look,
yeah.
I'll go ahead and post it in the chat. It's like, show us the cat. I'm like,
Yep. Like and subscribe.
what?
There he's
I
back.
like how Sean made that like X-rated real fast.
Like, what is going on here?
This is not a nightly OnlyFans, okay?
Oh, Mr. Man. We gotta go.
Yeah,
There we go.
you must have the cat's ass in the meeting there for sure. So
He wears underpants.
yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. Always happy to help. We always appreciate the commentary on the Facebook stream and on the YouTube stream. So feel free to jump on there and let us know if you have any thoughts or questions. Yeah, we'll have a good time. Like I said, we're still waiting for a couple to come in. So meanwhile, we have with us Duchess Nessa from the Mid-Realm, who recently stepped down as Queen of the Mid-Realm. And so she's got a handful of video from where she was queen, because everybody wants to fight the queen. So she's got some good stuff to work with there. And eventually we will have Lucius from Caid, Blackledge. Some of you might know him as Blackledge or Ledge. And then, of course, Jarl Thorfin will be joining us as well as one of our regular coaches. And, of course, we have Duchess Helga as one of our video review. And joining us for the first time for the video review is Jarl Randall from Atlantia, who also somewhat recently stepped down as king about a year ago.
Yeah, no, it was April. It's still fresh. The wounds are still fresh. Don't worry. We're still feeling.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Well, you can do it again. You get more wounds.
I know. They make you do it twice. How sadistic. Yeah, nobody gives them credit for that. How sadistic they were. You got to do it twice.
That's
In a
right.
row.
Some of the basic ground rules that we cover when we do this. One of the things that we're trying to do with this show is actually teach people how to do video review. A lot of people will take video and then we'll look at it and they'll be like, "Oh, look at me sucking right there. Let me rewind that. Watch me suck some more." And they don't actually know what to do with it. There is a process that I teach as part of my class on how to do video analysis. And you'll be seeing some of that as we go on throughout the evening, just to see the process that we go through to break things down. So it's not just a matter of, oh, look at, that guy just beat me because he's just really fast. Which, that's why when we're looking at video, we typically have to, once we have a point of impact and we recognize that as a point of failure, we'll have to go back 10 to almost 30 seconds sometimes to see what actually happened, because very rarely is it the case where you just got hit, just because somebody was faster. There's usually going to be a lead up to that. There's a reason that a particular shot happened. And so those are some of the things that we look at, kind of see how we use YouTube, we use the frame by frame, we use the half speed, we use the full speed to work through this. And yeah, so we get to show you a little bit about how we do this, the process that we go through. And then, of course, get some actual breakdown for our guests who were kind enough to join us, to let us pick apart their video. So when we are looking at this stuff, we do have a focus on basically isolating and eliminating deficiencies. What we're looking for is we're going to find out basically what is wrong with your fight, rather than glorifying what is right with your fight. We learn more from our failures than we do our successes. there's a limit to which you can improve the stuff you're already doing well. But if you can fix the things you're doing poorly, that is going to have a tremendous impact on your fight overall. And so if we can isolate those things and work on the most current deficiencies, then we start working those out. And that's basically the whole process for becoming a better fighter, is chipping away at the parts of the statue that aren't David, as they once said. So that's kind of the angle that we're looking at. And we want everybody to keep in mind that as we're doing this, it's going to look like we're kind of picking on the parts of your fight that are a problem, and that's why we do this. We're not having these guys on here to tell them what terrible fighters they are. We're having them on so that we can show them how to become better, and likewise, so the audience at home can get an idea about what they can do to improve their fights as well. First off, huge thanks to Nessa and to Lucius for allowing us to pick apart your fights and to have you guys come on. And it takes a lot of courage for you to have some of the best analysts in the world picking apart your fights live, for a studio audience. So we cannot thank you enough. Without you, we can't really do this show. I mean, we're going to do video review anyway, but you guys are doing a great service for the people that are out there that are watching. And so we really appreciate your willingness to come on and let us pick you apart a little bit. We're going to start with Anessa. We'd just let's just have you introduce yourself a little bit and just tell us a little bit about yourself and your fighting path. Let me try to get you on here. Maybe did the thing. Yeah, a little bit about where you are in your fighting path and where you're at and where you're going.
I am Duchess Nessa of the Midrealm. Just stepped down. Looking to start getting back into tourneys. Since I had a couple years straight of reigns, I haven't done any tourney fighting recently. Looking forward to getting back into that. Been fighting since 2016 as a lefty, not natural, but here we are. Mostly sword and shield fighter. I like doing polearm and melee, but also sword and shield. But I can handle pretty much most weapons fairly all right. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting back on the track of what I need to do to get better.
All right, sounds good. And we have Lucius from Caid. Would you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us a little bit about where you're at. You are muted. Let me see if I can unmute you. No, I just unmuted Thorfin. Hey, there you go. Try it again. Nope.
Sean, normally you're the one that has to yell at me about being muted.
I mean,
Black, right?
I think there might be something going on with this mic.
Yeah, there's a technical issue, right?
Yeah, this is where we just fill in time with snark.
I mean, usually I'm the one with the technical difficulties forgetting how to do this whole thing.
I'm still waiting for us to see more just weird content ads on your YouTube, which is it's always a bet if it's going to be food or some random thing.
Yep.
It almost sounded like he came in for a second.
Almost.
Yeah, was that? I'll take this moment to say hi to everyone. Really great to see you all.
All right, Lucius, fix your mic there. So, while we're at it, we're waiting for Lucius to work that out. Thorfin, do you got any thoughts on this process that we go through? Anything you want to cover that I might have missed there?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that video review is super important because it allows us to look at the kind of the fight and slow it down and really see the whole thing. It's a very useful tool. So.
All right. Sounds like Lucius might have got that fixed.
We're hoping, right?
Hey, Lucius, you want to say something? Hello.
You could hear it now. But
This is the best.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. We're just figuring out my Bluetooth here. Apologies. I literally am borrowing my girlfriend's computer.
All right. Well, you may have to do it without the Bluetooth if you can't hear us in the headphones there, because we can hear you. So if you can hear us, then we should be good.
No, my headphones are having a hard time connecting. Hold on 1 minute.
All right.
You can still hear.
I can still hear you all. We'll just go without headphones. I apologize if you hear any reverberation.
Turn it off. It died.
Oh, it died. Yeah, that's what happened.
Oh, no batteries. Good plan.
Yeah.
You can hear us okay, though?
I can hear.
All right. So why don't you...
Now it's
Mic
connecting.
and audio.
we're going to try that again.
There we go. That's way better. Okay, thank you. I love you.
All right. All right.
Sorry about that.
Just tell us where you're at, where you're from, how long you're fighting.
Yeah, so I'm Lord Lucius Blackledge le Scott. Everybody calls me Ledge. I'm from the Kingdom of Caid in the Barony of Calafia. I am a prolific tournament fighter here. I've had multiple people tell me that I probably should get an award for the most traveled person in our kingdom at the moment. And I enjoy war fighting as well as tournament fighting. I'm a part of the war band of Corvus. In general, I'm still enjoying the SCA, so that's always a plus.
That's all we can ask for. All righty. So, Helga, did we miss anything that you want to cover? You're always pretty good about filling in the blanks here for us.
Nope. Yeah, one of the things we're going to try to get everybody doing is this is interrupt us if a term doesn't make sense. All of us have a slightly different language across all the kingdoms. And so if something doesn't fit with your understanding, please stop us, because I guarantee if you ask a question, somebody else out there has the same question. So you're just helping us explain terms in a way that can travel across kingdoms. If you don't agree with something, speak up. There's reasons why video review is a constantly growing thing, is because all of us, even though we're here as like experts, also still learn in the process. So if you see something that you think is contributing to the behavior we're talking about, let's bring it up. Let's talk about it. And the other thing is just thank you for being here. You're out in some of the big audience. It's going to be online forever. And so it's a thing that you're gifting us the ability to look over your video and further the sport because of it. So thank you very much for being here.
All right.
And we decided a 6 out of 10 snark tonight.
All right. I think with that, we'll go ahead and get rolling on here. We're going to start with Nessa. And we'll flip back over here. If I recall correctly, we wanted to do that. And we want to... We'll do the theater mode, not the full screen. All right, you guys are going to have to tell me if we get too much lag on this. All right, so these are some pickup fights from Lily's back in June. And I'm recognizing the Calatier Cross right there. So who are you fighting right here?
His name was in my head, and now it's gone. I apologize to His Excellency for forgetting his name.
That's all right. That's all right. So we'll roll on with this. All right. So we're going to watch a little bit of this, and yeah, try not to get in the way of the spearmen.
They can walk around.
and you're on a hill.
Mm-hmm.
So, is everybody getting smoothly across in their video, or is it still a little chunky?
A little chunky.
It's chunky on my end as well.
Was it kind of is it choppy?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
a little bit.
We have stop motion animation.
Let's see. Take it out of
If
theater.
it was stop motion, I'd be impressed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting the
Sorry
same
about that.
thing. Oh, no worries. I thought I normally we slow it down, but
Let me
this
see
one
if I
seems to be
can-
like they're jumping a lot, like kind of rubber banding.
Is that better taking it out of the theater mode? Do I need to reduce the video
Just-
quality?
It's better now.
No, that's
Yeah.
not better.
What speed is it at right now?
I think it's at full speed.
720.
Oh, you got it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I've got
No,
enough off
that's
this
his
one. Do you want to look at the more recent ones so we can compare and contrast since
might
they
be-
are 4 months apart?
Sure. Yep. Yeah, as we were telling our guests there, it doesn't take us a whole lot.
No. I think I've got the consistent
Guys
thing.
really good at what they do.
And every
was
single one of us
watching
nerds
videos
watched
earlier,
this
so-
for a few hours before the show.
There are definitely times where you can
All
tell,
we
like,
do is
some
watch
of us
fighting
have, like,
footage.
studied the
of
video
people.
before the show, and then there's other ones that were like, my workday sucked. This is the first time I've seen this.
Yeah, that's my day. Yeah, right now. So. I went to work at 6, and I just walked in. So.
That's fair. It's East Coast privilege. I need to check my East Coast privilege. My bad.
You sound like me.
What does that even mean? I still went to work at 6.
Well, it's 8 for me. So like I got off at 5. I was or 5:30. It was like
Okay, I have something. Nice leg shot.
I watched this about
Yeah, it's gonna
25
be
times. I noticed some things about that, but that was a nice shot. That's the reason I watched it a bunch.
Hey, Randall, I still
Yes, sir.
have that ring.
Oh, wicked!
I wear it all the time.
Oh man, I was sorry I couldn't bump into y'all at Penzic. It didn't
It's,
happen organically, and I think everybody had a good time though. I know Inga.
We'll
was
be there
over
next.
having
We'll
a
be
good
there
time.
next
Sweet.
this year or next time. Okay. Yeah. Something.
We are going to talk about always being loaded to go backwards. So I've got enough to go over this. Does everybody else?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
You
good.
good?
Yeah.
No,
I really like the way
think
your
I
hair
can
comes
go
out the
We can go
bottom
back.
of your helmet, though.
The kit is sweet. Like it deserves to be said. That is a very
Yeah.
good looking kit. Anytime I see a good looking kit, we should be talking about that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good kit.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's pretty.
All right, I'm
pretty
gonna start with Thorfin on this one. All right,
Okay,
Thorfin,
so-
what are you seeing there?
part of the thing is I feel that you're not addressing the fact that you're left-handed and they're right-handed stance-wise. Okay, so with a lot of what your fight does from the video here is that you start blocking your entire vision. Your shield is up high to protect your head, which is a very normal kind of a behavior, right? But what you're doing is you're not trusting your fundamental skills enough to have your shield in position where you can see your opponent and then address the attack, right? What you're doing is you're pre-covering and then moving out from behind it. You can see you're doing it right here, and what it's doing, unfortunately, is it's blinding you, right? And so you can't see what your opponent's doing to be able to create in the moment. Your opponent is going to give you the targets that they want you to hit them in by their movement and stuff. But if you can't see what they're doing, thus you can't take advantage of that. You are staying alive, but you're not giving your space to create. So that's my big takeaway from that. So other than that, I mean, there's a lot of space for us to talk about stuff, but I think that's seriously something that you could do, is to work on trusting your actual defense to allow your offense to be involved. So that's my first part.
All right. Let me start with that. Randall, what do you got?
Yeah, now I'm piggybacking, and my notes were mostly about stance. When I look at your stance, particularly when you're posted up, right there, perfect. If we can pause. Your sword and your shield edge are covering the same defensive plane. There is nothing that your sword is doing defensively that your shield can't pick up. And yet, in a lot of the times, you're reaching out for these sword blocks and disabling your offense. I think if you sacrificed your forward hand position and maybe concentrated keeping it closer to your shoulder and picking up those things more with the shield, you will actually get more defensive credibility out of the increased aggressive, like offensive posture. Like if you are posted up like this and blocking here and doing that, they've got to be worried about what's going to happen with this hand. Whereas if you're sword blocking out here, it's kind of you've got two objects covering the same thing, when you could free up your offensive hand to create more pressure and give them something to think about when they come into you, or when you're transitioning from A range through C range. Having that loaded gun changes the conversation more so than having it forward out. That was mostly what I picked away from it. I think a higher hand and a loaded one would be fine, and then you could just pick up that stuff with your shield edge. If you just shift your body back a little bit instead of moving the shield, or do both, you can get the same defensive range, and then you've got your hand loaded for the repost.
Yep. All right, Helga.
All right, so I'm going to dogpile on both of them and point out the same thing in a different way. So one, to dogpile on Thorfin stuff, I feel like you're blocking with your hand, not your shield edge. This says you aren't aware of how big your shield actually is, which is going to cause the same thing that Thorfin's seeing right now, because when you're hitting those high heads, you can actually see you're trying to catch it with your shield boss versus just meeting it with the edge. Again, causing yourself blind, causing that overreaction in that shoulder. To go follow Randall, that your hand being low and matching with your shield says a defensive mindset, right? There's no offensive motion that can happen in your fight whatsoever until you load it back. Also, if you see yourself sideways, you can actually see that shoulder is collapsed forward and up out of the socket, which means, like we've talked about this one before, it means that you have to get it back and in the pocket so that hand is free and loose to actually be an offensive motion. You have right now, walking into the fight like this, you have to free up your body and release all your muscle mass to actually get your swing going, which is causing this little dip in your fight. And you can see yourself loading through this dip, which is a tell a lot of the times. And I think that this is causing some of the other things. But the thing I wanted to talk about, Sean, if you can get into that frame where she was like side to the camera, I want to talk about a little bit about balance. Which is affected by these two other things. And either these two other things are side effects of what I'm seeing, or they are causing what I am seeing. One of the two. They're typically linked. So if you can actually see yourself right here balanced, you are sacrificing a huge amount of your muscle mass to sit down in your fight and stay present because your hips are so far behind your heels. And this happens over and over and over again in all your videos. When you are sitting down, you are loaded to go backwards, which means you're also in a defensive mindset. You are always loaded to leave the fight. This is a super classic thing we can see in video. And then to keep yourself in the fight, you've now kicked yourself over at the hips and are leaning into the fight to recreate some form of balance to try to put yourself onto that midfoot, which we talk about all the time. This is going to cause you to push your hands forward to create balance, which again, if your hands are already forward, is where your hips are a side effect of you trying to survive the fight, which both Thorfin and Randall mentioned, or is it all of this side effect happening because your hips are so far back that you have to literally reach and sacrifice your shoulders and sacrifice your power and your entire core to stay viable in the fight? And this is where
Super
we get
accurate.
geeking out on this.
No, super accurate.
But do you see what I'm talking about in that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
They're on their heels, and it's pulling back their energy. So they have to recreate, like they have to really move their whole thing forward before they can even do an attack.
So the reason why we see the face forward in the fight too is that face is coming forward in all the motions or backwards in that, which creates that whip snap.
And like, I think everything she talked about is an accurate problem, and I think the simplest fix is to just have a narrower stance. If your feet aren't as wide, then squatting like that is just going to be so uncomfortable, and like you're just not going to do it. And if you can get a narrower stance and take shorter, quicker steps, you will be able to find those gaps a little bit easier. You can wiggle your shoulders and get feints that way. I'm a big believer in one of the first things I look for when a fighter's having issues or coming to me for advice is how wide are their feet. I think keeping your feet more nimble and closer together will keep you more upright, forward leaning. You can do those laterals that we were talking about earlier. That might be a one way to solve that problem.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say, remember, always be on the balls of your feet. Anytime you start to sink your heel down, you instantly link to the ground and become immobile, right? You can't lift your feet if you're back on them. If you're on the balls of your feet, you continuously can move, right? So everything is an adjustment. Everything, even if you have to go backwards, it's an adjustment instead of a giant step and transference of body energy. So it allows you to be your body loaded for the attack, like kind of like Helga was talking about, like getting that core energy up, as long as you're on the front of your feet, not the back of your feet.
So Nissa, one of the ways to do this, like physically while you're fighting, is when you draw your belly button in, where does it want to drive your feet? Does it feel like it drives you down into the ground? Does it feel like it kicks you forward, or does it make you feel like you're sitting back? And remember, we're driving that foot to that middle of the shoulder blades, not straight back. And the more you're canted over, the harder it actually is. And when you do that, it'll actually physically try to force you forward because your body will give up and try to move forward. If you're leaning back and you do that, it will push you back on your heels. And so this is a really good way to see if your midfoot and ball of the foot in the fight is actually check how you're holding your core. This will also work on the bracing that we geeked out about a couple months ago. And this is going to draw you up. It'll narrow your feet just a little bit. And it's a really quick, easy way to like check yourself mid-fight too. Because as soon as you back out and reset the fight and he's no longer a threat, you can check your own balance to re-enter the fight. And eventually this becomes a really subconscious behavior that will keep you rebalancing all the time and actually able to actively use that muscle mass in your core. You can also check this and do that while making your cup of coffee in the morning, or picking up a piece of paper off the desk, or doing laundry. And so you learn how to do this not in a stressful environment.
And I'm just kind of throwing here, I think this segment right here is a really good example of what they're talking about. Because as this shot comes in, so there's some of this stuff that's problematic to begin with, but this leg wrap that you end up throwing, it's a really good mechanic. And I think you actually get your body underneath you and you get on the balls of your feet as you throw that. So if you just kind of watch, like even just that step right there, I think you're better loaded here to be able to throw pretty much anything. And then as he comes around on this, he steps in, jumps in real hard. And you're just in a really good position to throw a really good mechanic at that shot, at that leg.
He committed before freezing you. He didn't freeze you.
So
That's why
I'm
he
just going to throw out a little bit here. I usually let.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I'm just going to throw out a little bit with this that while I agree with much of what they're saying, I think some of where this is coming from, both your defense and your stance, is your defense. That's you're doing the mid-realm A-frame. I think it's a misunderstanding of how the A-frame works a little bit. So you might want to talk to Bronos about that a bit and get a better understanding of what's going on there. The feet looks to me, that looks a lot like Ronvalder. And so again, I think there's maybe a misunderstanding of you think that you're doing Ronvalder's footwork and you're not quite there. So you might want to talk to him about that difference in how do you stay on the balls of your feet? How do you stay loaded? Because I agree with Helga. It looks like the way you're sitting down into it, it looks like you are sitting down into that. And like I said, not to excuse it, but like I think that's where those two things are coming from, and just maybe a slight misunderstanding of what you are seeing versus what they're actually doing. So I would definitely recommend talking to those guys about how to incorporate some of what they're talking about here.
So one thing that I do want to
Does
point
that
out,
make
though,
sense?
a positive on this, I'm super happy with the improvement you've made over the last couple months with the shape of your arm, where you still need to draw that shoulder back and get that into the socket a little bit more and get yourself back into that good power base. I'm really happy that you're no longer reaching that hand forward. We've gone from that, like, I'm trying to survive and getting that really forward where you're trying to catch it, to now you have it at 90 degree, and now we just need to move that shoulder back into place, so now you're a threat. Not a threat. Threat. This is loaded. This is unloaded. This is the next place that we need to work on now that you're not breaking that elbow and reaching out to try to stop the fight before you get into it. Now you're meeting it. Now we just need to make it so you're loaded. And I think that's the next big thing in your fight, is to get that shoulder connected to all that core and that lat. But I do want to point out, I'm damn happy with that improvement. Like, that's been a big thing that you've been fighting for a long time, and I think you made a really large stride in that.
I appreciate it. Also,
Would I go ahead?
no, you're fine. Go ahead. I interrupted you.
I was going to say I'd like to point out that I've never heard Helga actually give someone like a great improvement. So, well done.
I'm trying to be more positive in life, thank you.
Like, yeah, I think I've done it after 30 of these, first time. So, well done.
I wish you cheat coded. We were just together 3 months ago, so.
I don't know. I get crap from my older squires about my early training methodology, which was a lot more rugged than the hey, great job, I'm really proud of you, that the grand squires are getting now.
Yeah, my
changes.
newest squire versus my first squire, definitely, I have become a kinder human.
Yeah, for sure. All right, hey Nessa, do you have any questions? Is there anything that they've talked about that you don't understand?
Nope, I understood everything, and now I know who to talk to.
How do you feel, or what are you going to play with? Like, your takeaway from this? What are you going to look for in your video? Like, what is something that you can take away from this that you can watch a video and be like, I've made improvement on that, or I haven't made improvement on that?
I know the stance thing. We talked about a narrower stance. I know that was a thing that I've been trying to work on, and if that keeps coming up, that means I'm not really working on that too well. So I'm going to try to be doing that. But for watching video, it's going to be the body mechanic stuff. Like, I'm not worried too much about how I'm hitting at the moment, because that'll improve as it goes. But like how I'm standing, because I think, like, I do a lot of, I think I'm doing a thing, like, oh, I took a small step. Girl, you didn't take a step at all. Oh, well, okay. There's a lot of that for me in a fight. Like, I did this.
We need to put a set of shocks on you under your helmet, and we can hot mic one of us.
Oh.
Can I add something real quick? Like, Um,
live stream.
Yeah,
when I saw your mechanics, like I thought your mechanics are fine. Like I think you've got good artillery. I think it's the platform that the guns are firing off of. I think when you like narrow down and get a stable platform, the mechanics are there. Like I can hear it. I can hear the rattan hit your opponent, which is like an underrated experience, but I can hear the thud. So I know the mechanics are solid just on sound alone. I just think you're firing them from suboptimal placements. And when you narrow that down and find the right balance, you're going to see a lot of results from it.
Yeah, and it's funny because you had just mentioned that, getting your feet underneath you and getting your feet where they're supposed to be. And that was absolutely going to be my comment is, curious enough, when you have a good shooting platform underneath you, the mechanics are just kind of there. But when you're firing from a compromised position, they're always, your mechanics are going to be compromised for sure.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, if we got enough for you, like I said, if anything else comes up, definitely ping us and let us know if later on if you think of something that doesn't make any sense. So, all right, Lucius Ledge, you ready?
Yeah, I think I'm ready for y'all.
All right, let's see. Get back to where yours was.
Yeah, your comment about Helga saying good progress made me laugh a little hard, so I had to mute myself.
No worries.
I'm trying to be a nicer human being.
It's fantastic.
You got to be a little bit of a hater, though. Every coach is a little bit of a hater.
I'm an asshole. Okay?
Hate not hater. You need a good hater. Good hater's important for your career.
In my experience, you're very nice.
The haters made me who I am today.
I would say, like, I've never said that. I've never said that. But
I was busting my chin. I have.
All right. So, Ledge, which one are you here? You're in the
You're
chainmail
passionate,
shirt here?
Helga. You're passionate.
Yeah. So currently I've been wearing, thank you, a Lorica Hamada, my Roman kit.
Okay,
And,
you're the one with your back piece?
Yeah, and I apologize. I have a lot of fighting videos over the year, but these are the ones that...
That's right. So this one is this is a great sort of thing. What is you said that you were working on Sword and Buckler?
So after our last Spring Crown, I changed over to Sword and Buckler from Sword and Board.
Why?
I wasn't having fun. I became angry unbelt, as I remember Duke Sean talking about in a video that I was watching a while back, like the path to knighthood and Kapora, and I evaluated what was wrong, and I decided I wasn't having fun fighting Sword and Board, so I remembered I had a lot of fun fighting Buckler, and I decided to pick that up and humble myself a little bit again.
Not a bad answer, actually. My thing is, like,
Did it take away your
it was just like,
expectation of winning, so you were allowed to teach?
Why?
You were allowed to learn again.
Yeah, a little bit of that, and just a couple of other things that happened, and I just decided to approach it not being angry and just have fun.
Good call.
Well, that's why we do it. That's why we do this. So.
Yep, for sure.
Bjorn's a really big guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of my tougher fights, I would say, every time I fight him in tournament, but he's really nice.
Sweetheart, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's the nicest human being that could actually physically throw you across an Eric.
Yeah. We got a couple of those in this kingdom.
Yeah, that dude is probably one of the only people that has picked me up like a chihuahua and just stuck me under his arm.
That's a neat thing to brag about.
Like a little, like a news, picked you up like a newspaper. Okay, so
I'm going to move on to the next one here.
I was about to say,
I was trying to figure out what's going on there. Yeah.
I think we had a break in the video in that one.
Oh, okay.
And how recent are these? You said 10
The ones,
like 10 months ago?
yeah, these ones are before the spring crown that we had this year.
Okay.
This is before Elric got elevated too. But I have all the way up until right before Great West, which I wasn't able to go to.
Alas. I would have loved to have hit you with a sword.
My mother's wedding happened that same weekend, so I figured it was important to go to that instead.
I'll rephrase. An axe. I never use a sword at war. So.
For an average sized dude, you like to fight really tall.
Mm-hmm.
What? No.
I've been told that.
You're not good. You were here a week by yourself. You did nothing.
So you fight with Corvus, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you San Diego based?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I just travel throughout our entire kingdom, and
Understood.
even when I'm doing personal stuff.
Have you done much training with any particular person?
I go to a couple of regular practices. I'd say the person that's been focusing on like technique and drilling is usually my Monday night practice in Summergate, which is the person who's leading that one is Thorgrim Kugi.
Okay, yeah.
But I take advice from anybody that I can get it from. Also work with Duke Patrick and a couple of other people in Califia. Yeah. Man, my fight has changed a lot since this.
Yeah, I was about to say, Sean, you want to go down to the end of the list? His fight is way different.
Sorry, I'm just like looking at him like I'm so bouncy.
Next time you see Thorfin, tell him
Dryburg anniversary. How about
and you should fix that.
Yeah, that was probably my most recent.
Yeah, I was watching these.
And I apologize, the video was not the greatest.
Can I give you some advice, bud?
Sure.
Stop apologizing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you deserve the space that you take up. Like, right? Like, we're here for you. Stop apologizing. Like, we're here working together, man. Like, you got nothing to be ashamed of. Like, why are you apologizing? You did nothing wrong.
I'm mad about the angle of this camera. That's why I'm... And it's partially because my lovely videographer is doing a great job listing.
Not
bothering to videotape their fights.
Yeah, I was about to say also, Sean, about 4 fights out is actually pretty close. And he's pretty consistent from these fights to what was taken crown.
You talking about these up here with Califia anniversary?
Yeah, those are much closer to, like, they're a little easier to see too.
All right, just fighting Fia.
Mm-hmm. She's one of my Wednesday night practices usually.
Yeah.
So while we're watching this, do you lift at all?
I used to.
Okay.
I need to start doing it again, though.
How long ago did you lift, and did you have somebody coaching you?
Last time I was actively lifting was and coaching was probably 2017.
Okay. Did your coach ever talk to you about being glute blind?
No. That's a
Explain
new
that,
term
please.
to me. Yeah.
Okay. So
Can you repeat that? What like did you say
Glute
glute blind?
yeah,
I'm
glute blind.
sorry.
So
Oh,
you
cool.
can actually, your body can lose awareness of a muscle group and just kind of it like casually uses it. But what it ends up doing is it like makes up for it in other places. The reason why I have quads that could kill people is the fact that I was glute blind for years after breaking my back, where my body just kind of stopped using all my glute muscles to move, and I over muscled through the front side of my leg and like up my spine. And so I was actually very upright and could move well, but like, man, did I have a little pancake butt. And so you can actually watch how people move to see where their body has basically never thought about using the muscle. Amusingly enough, one of the things that kind of comes up a lot of the times is most people don't actually know how to use their lat because they've actually overcompensated with their pec. We see this super commonly in fighting too, is that's where you see that shoulder fall forward and that shoulder breaks, is they're actually using their pec to generate the motion through their shoulder instead of using the lat, which will actually move the elbow first. And that's where we tend to see the hand forward, everything else like that. But then you tell them like, hey, can you flex your lat? And they're like, they literally can't flex it because the body has learned how to use their trap and their pec to compensate for that muscle never actually developing properly. How he walks says he's likely glute blind and weak in the hamstring, because you actually see a very upright, super heavy walk with a very barrel chest in there, which says I'm holding my rib cage really stern over the top of it, and then he like almost stabs his heel in to the ground. That means he's not pushing, he's actually throwing his leg forward, which is a quad strong indicator. Sorry, you put a quarter in my geek.
No, I appreciate it. That's a note for next time. I'm gonna look into that.
I mean, I'm just gonna say I'm a little disappointed that you didn't originally frame the question, do you even lift, bro? Like that was a missed opportunity. Like,
But I felt the same way. I was like, really no, really no.
I mean, I did just say that, he didn't know where his butt was, so just in like technical terms.
So these are this is the tournament that I would say I started doing buckler again actively, and then from this point on is where I saw progression, at least in my fights.
Is the video coming through okay? Is there still kind of choppy?
No, I think it's fine.
It's pretty good.
All right.
It is good enough. I think we'd all just need to go in and buy you YouTube Red, and then you can just download these videos beforehand.
I'd be willing to go in on that actually for you guys.
Yeah, Tommy.
For 3 easy payments of none.
Is that a thing? I mean, that we could do?
Yeah, with YouTube Red, you can do a bunch. You can do a bunch more than regular. You might just want to start pulling people's Google Drives.
Oh, geez whiz! How much does that cost?
Well, Tom,
I mean, let's do it.
It's like $10 a month.
It's like $100. Like it's pricey.
YouTube Red.
Yeah, Tom was mentioning we could do that, but
get on somebody's family plan. The Coach's Corner family plan. We all just like sell our asses on the internet. Have YouTube Red.
All right.
I mean, like we just make Barry pay for it. Like Barry, get Barry pay for it.
So.
All right, Helga, you got enough to work with to start with?
Yeah, I do. All right, so you almost have the opposite problem that Nissa has. You are standing super upright. And there's a lot of indicators to this, including you have almost no connection from about your mid-pec down. It's kind of accidental in the process. You have a very braced chest and core, and what I would consider older school mechanics. So a lot of the changes that have happened within like the SCA fighting-wise is we've gone to more tension through the body versus bracing. And I see a lot of bracing in your bodies. And key indicators of this is I can see your hand leaves before your elbow ever moves. So almost a lot of your shots of these big hammer blows, it's also an indication that your hand is super tight around your stick and you can't relax to let it go. How I can see this in the video for other people that are out there watching and doing video analysis is when he moves, you either see everything basically mid down stays the same unless he moves his feet or his hips. There's no attachment. And also, one of the other things that we see is we see no fluid motion with the rib cage. So there's no that elbow leads and the rib cage moves out of the way to get going. We see it stays in the way, and it's actually binding his arm up, so he's having to turn everything out of the way to then throw. And so this is where, like, the big thing is we're gonna have to figure out what part of your body we have to actually get loose to get you to start having flow and connect everything. And so what we're gonna talk about is the difference between bracing muscle and tension in muscle. So bracing muscle, it barrels out. You can actually do it with your abs sitting there real quick. If you put your finger in your belly button and you brace, your hand will move away. It's the same thing we do when lifting, right? Like you bear down and you bow everything out and you brace against your back. So you turn yourself into a barrel so you can lift the most weight off the ground possible. Tension is actually making those long. So Pilates, yoga, everything else. We are actually closer to needing tension in our body for fighting because we are moving on a dynamic plane. And one of the things that when that happens is we actually bring that belly button up and in, and it basically stays level with our body, but you can feel the pull on the inside of your spine and right behind your shoulder blades. It should make you feel like you have a little bit of a V and like you're lifting your belly button up to it. And this is going to be, I think, the big thing for your fight, especially wanting to be a buckler fighter. You can't fight braced as a buckler fighter. You have to make sure that your body is spring-loaded at any given time. And braced muscle is not spring-loaded. Braced muscle must be released before it can move. When you are in tension, you can move with tension. It's like learning how to breathe while singing.
Okay.
Any questions so far? Because this is a real weird technical one for you.
No, it sounds like some of the stuff I've been trying to work on. I just need to probably work on better implementing it because Thorgrim said the exact same thing.
I yell at Thorgrim about it.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I was saying you need to talk to him about being glute blind, because that's going to be the second part of this. The reason why your foot is stabbing is the fact that you're lifting your leg up with your quad and not driving forward with your glute. And this is also going to make your fight slower, because the quad is you're going to lift up and then you're going to fall onto the foot, right? Versus your glute actually causes the glide. Your body can go with it and stay in balance. And so with these two things, like one, give you total points. Fighting buckler is one of the funnest sports out there. I love it. If I'm ever frustrated with my fight, I go back to buckler or sports heater and have a riot of a time. But the big thing we're going to have to do is we got to get your core stronger so you can actually trust that your body is going to move the way you want and you can generate power. Because right now you are all arm, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can keep going, but we have three other amazing coaches
here. I'm going to throw something out here real quick. So, Ledge, your feet right here.
Mm-hmm.
See how your feet are flat against the ground right there?
Mm-hmm.
You have no power base to shoot from when you're on your knees. Is there something wrong with your ankles where you're not able to have your toes curled up underneath you?
Yeah, it hurts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe a thing to stretch out. Maybe so one of the problems with having your feet flat like this is if you can curl your toes underneath you, you just have a more stable platform. So what ends up happening here with your feet like this, you don't have anything to kind of push off on, and so you'll end up getting like your stability side to side is compromised, and also you don't have any way to rotate your hips to engage your hip rotation to start your shots. And so that means that everything has to be like you're spending a lot of your core muscles just kind of keeping yourself up. Whereas if you can get your feet under you, you can create basically a tripod. You can basically create a better shooting platform. This is a thing that I see a lot of people do. If you can get your toes under you, and it may be, you may have to stretch that out to see if that's a thing you can do. But just you might want to look into it. And for other fighters out there watching, if you can get your toes underneath you, like I said, you're able to push off on the toe, and you're just more stable being upright when you're sitting on your knees. Because otherwise, like you're spending all this time. There's a lot of energy that you're expending keeping yourself upright because like with where you are, it's just really easy to push that over. So sorry I had to throw that out there.
No, that's a good note. I'll work on that.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, sorry. You were calling on me? I'm just making sure.
No, Lucius, you were saying something?
I appreciate that note. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Take a look at it. All right, Randall.
All right. Man, little baby Randy cries little tears whenever he sees a buckler fighter with their tip pointed away from their opponent. There is never a time in your life where that, like, unless you're throwing thunder, where that tip shouldn't be threatening to stab that dude in the face. You have a tiny little shield. The only way to control that range is having this here. And yes, I want you to see the Justin Bieber thrusting tip tape that I put on my swords. That is what should haunt your opponents. You should go on eBay, get this tape, put it on your thrusting tips, and haunt your opponents. But like, and I learned how to fight this style from a Caid transplant, moved to Atlantia, won a couple crowns. And the first and foremost move is keeping that tip always on the forefront of their mind. They should always be worried about getting thrusted at every possible instance of coming through B range to A range or vice versa. I think you need to make that should be too much of a threat, and then backed down as we like reshape the optimization of you trying to do this weapons form. I think you thrusting too much and losing technique and losing prowess on some of your shots is actually going to put you on a better arc if you are committed to this weapons form. So if you don't have thrusting as a part of your game, you have signed up for a world of misery fighting buckler without your thrusting tip. I think you are in for a very, very difficult path. Or I would really, really concentrate as much on pel work as that tip control and range understanding. Being able to manipulate your opponent, protect yourself as they come in on you, and to be able to toy with them and do other things is absolutely crucial. And to that end, once you develop that hand forward stance, and I'm going to use a plate, the way I was taught was I keep my hand high to cover the head. So if anything's coming in this area, I'm going to like use my sword to priority block that. And then I keep my buckler down here to protect my legs. Because if I want to be up here and blocking, then I'm loaded and ready to go, as opposed to where you are, which is double coverage. You just got your buckler and your hand together. They're both blocking the same thing, and there's not a lot of tag team action of zones. So I think you would do well to think about, number one, having this thrusting tip out here, and then keeping this to block what's low. And then you can pick up with sword blocks and feints and do what you need to do with your feet later in the game. But a foundation of a thrust threat, and then breaking down your defense into different zone defense instead of man-to-man will be a good arc for you. I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview on the 201, which is par blocking. Are you familiar with the concept of par blocking?
I might be, but I don't think it's called that.
So if somebody throws a sword shot at me and I'm trying to sword block it, I can brute up, full flex, nothing is getting past this, and it will stop, and I will hold it and prevent it from doing that. This is suboptimal defense with buckler. What you want to be doing is picking up their flat snap, letting it intercept your sword, but holding it with a loose hand so that their weapon actually loads yours. And then once you get that base contact, you can step around them and throw with a ton of power without having to really reload, because their weapon cocks your hand back. And those par blocking techniques are super crucial because they will also help you learn how to duck and other things like that. But I do think the first thing you should fix is, number one, a commitment to thrust and thinking of your defensive coverage in zones, and just having dedicated play. And find your own balance. Maybe left-right is your zone. Maybe you want to be down here. But I think high hand with that thrust threat and having those zone defense is going to give you a lot of mileage on it. It's a fun form. I fight it all the time.
Right on. All right, Thorfin, what you got?
Okay, so I think that you need to focus on like from ground up power generation, right? So if you're throwing a snap or something like that, the power comes from your left leg, right? As it then moves up through your core into your shoulders, arm, and then out to the hand, right? So fuck you, moth. We have a moth thing.
Oh no!
So it's the worst. But so the idea is learning to feel the ground, the earth. You're stealing energy from the earth. It's going to come up into your core, right? And then out through that. Now, what Helga was talking about, and everyone else about having this kind of like forward thing, you can still do that, but as long as you pull the energy from the ground up into your shoulder, and then you can now isolate this power. It's still locked and loaded, right? So, but if you're on, kind of on the back or your feet, or you're outside of the line of your opponent, it just takes more time for you to be able to do that. So what you want to do is you want to feel the ground, like literally push off the ground. It's going to come into your core, right? And then from there, you can then move it out. So it's kind of a Jedi thing. I don't know.
No, I understand where you're coming from with that. Thank you.
All right. So I got some thoughts for you as well. So some of what Helga was talking about, like it looks like you are trying to throw hard. So it looks like your shots they look like they're a lot of work, and it looks like a lot of the shots you're throwing, like your decision, like your choice of what shots to throw, it looks like you're trying to make certain things happen. Like you're trying to make a flat snap be there when it's not there, or you're trying to make an offside be there when it's not there. And having a little bit looser grip, as Helga was kind of talking about, and having your muscles a little bit more loose will allow you to be able to get to anything as each target is presented. And as you hear me say a lot, when we make better decisions about the blows that we're throwing, the resources that we need to deliver a attacking blow are inherently present in ways they're not when we're trying to make something happen. So part of that is target recognition, being able to see what is actually open. Right now, it feels like you're going for things that you want to be open. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would say that's pretty indicative of a lot of the videos we've looked at so far.
Right. So you can see that in the videos that we're watching, or you can kind of see where I'm getting that from, right?
Yeah.
So again, that's target recognition. Ideally, we want to throw at the targets that are presented to us instead of trying to make targets happen, right? Because it's if a target's not there, then that's just a lot of work to try to get that in there. So that's one thing, and like I said, I think your mechanics, I think, will I'm going to use the word soften. You will find that ease a little bit more when you're able to throw at targets that are actually there, and your body's in a position where it can throw to anything at any time. You loosen up that grip, and you loosen up those muscles, and then they can just execute whatever happens to open up when it opens up. Go ahead, Helga.
Do you know what we're talking about with a loose grip versus a hard grip?
Like a handshake versus a hammer.
Yes.
Well, maybe not, actually.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Let Helga explain what we're talking about.
So hammer grip, right? And this is not even a true hammer grip, by the way. This is a bastardized hammer grip of nobody knows what they're doing, because you don't swing a hammer like this either. Is traditionally we've been taught to carve our swords like this, right? And hang on to the damn stick like this, which locks out everything, and then you grip down. What we're actually talking about with a loose grip is being able to close these last two fingers and keep that sword long in the hand, right? So your stick actually, you close it like this, and you can actually see the angle now. And here's the difference. A hammer grip, when I'm throwing a flat snap, if my hand is closed around it, that is the angle of my sword, right? And I have to turn my body to get to the sweet spot. Again, we see this traditional bracing turn. If my stick is long, should really have like a short wiffle ball bat, and that's what I'm teaching this. Here's my flat snap. And I can leave these fingers open, which allows me to get to my opponent straight from my shoulder. One of the things that we can see in video when this happens, and one of the classic tells, is you can actually see the arm shaking, and it looks like everybody's trying to show off their biceps, which mine look terrible right now. But it makes you look like you're trying to flex that muscle. You can see that shoulder lift. You can see a bunch of other things. But for the most part, you also see the shots come very hard down, which we see a lot in this is a repeated thing in your video, where it looks like you're trying to, quote, force that shot, is because you actually are like driving your whole body through, because your hand is so tight around your stick. There's very little flex in your arm because all those muscles are already locked. Again, bracing versus tension, we're going to go back to like the beginning of this. But that's what the difference when we're talking about is that stick is actually long and loose, so you can relax your hand around it. Because here we will actually naturally we will over grip, and this is a whole class I can teach on. I carve my sword to fit my hand like this, by the way, not like this.
Okay.
Oh, he had. Kelly came prepared.
See,
What was
look, a hammer. I just picked up a hammer right here.
It just got real.
So the idea of like creating this power, it's all about fulcrums, right? So every fulcrum you adds a force multiplier. The last one is this one. If you're holding your sword like this, you'll find that your forearm becomes very tired, and your hand. And you can talk to fighters, and they're like, "Oh, geez, my arms are tired." But if you have this kind of loose grip, so what's creating this is this last tip speed, right? And this is a very important element. You could just that alone can oftentimes
That is the snap part of the snap.
Yeah, and it's a speed and force multiplier. So if you ever feel that you're like gripping your sword like that, you're wearing yourself out, right? Your muscles are fighting against that. Instead, and now it can be. I've seen guys folks do this kind of backwards one where they're like tight in the back. I can't do it.
I think that's what Helga was just doing.
Yeah, and I do more like this, right? So it's yeah. And so the idea here is this is the last snap, the last fulcrum right before impact.
Yeah.
And that's a huge speed and force multiplier. You just have to none of these things are like intuitive, right? So remember, it's not about this hitting hard, it's about the tip hitting hard. Right? So if we can create that speed. So anyway.
Yeah, the part that I was going to throw in there is like very much like what Thorfin was saying. It's and what Helga's saying. It's letting the stick do the work.
Correct.
A lot of what you're doing is you are trying to put more muscle behind your shots to make the power, but let the tip do the work. If you get a 2-pound object traveling at a certain rate of speed, you get 180 degrees of rotation on that. It is going to deliver a certain amount of force, right? It is going to deliver a telling blow. And that thing that Thorfin is talking about. So Helga was talking about using Helga. Are you holding it with the 2 bottom fingers to start?
Yeah.
I use the front 3, the thumb and these 2, and then as Thorfin was saying, I'm gonna use my pen here too. When you close your hand, what you're getting is you're getting a rapid acceleration at the point of impact. That's why you have to close the hand right as the stick hits the target, right? Because you're getting it right at the point of impact. Force equals mass times acceleration. If you get a rapid acceleration right at the point of impact, what that gives you is it gives you better energy transfer on your shots. And energy transfer in our sport is the thing that people feel, right?
It's everything.
People don't feel push, they feel punch, right?
Yeah, snap. You need that crack.
That's what that snap is closing your hand right at the point of impact. If you push somebody, if you move their body, their inner ear compensates for what's going on, and they may not know that they are actually getting pushed. So you can put your stick, I can put my stick right on you and I can shove you, but you're not going to, you don't feel that the same way. So if you can get that rapid acceleration right at the point of impact, and by closing your hand right at the point of impact, it gives you better energy transfer because it's getting a rapid acceleration. And so all of these things, so you are going to have to kind of go back to your stick mechanics a little bit to like I said, to let the stick do the work. you know, when I put up my Pelwork videos at the beginning of the pandemic, I've referred to what I do as stick mechanics for a long time, but it wasn't until I actually put the videos up that I realized how much of what I do really is the stick itself. It's making that 2-pound object, traveling at a certain rate and getting a certain rotation and hitting on good square lines for your hit perpendicular to surface you're striking. If you can get all those things done, you don't have to be stronger. And even if you are stronger, if you're letting the stick do the work, then if you're in better condition, then it's just less work on your body, and you're not going to get tired nearly as fast.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question, Ledge? It's trivia
Sure.
time. What's the
Trivia.
first human invention to break the sound barrier?
A whip.
If
What,
you can
nerd?
if you can turn your rattan into a whip, whether it's from your foot all the way up, like if your body's the handle and the sword's just the whip,
Correct.
you will get, if you visualize it that way, you'll start to get some of that power, and then you'll be looking for those little spring action shots, and adding every little bit into the launch and just letting the weapon go. Like when you throw like a whip and just let the rattan go, it does things predictably and it transfers a ton of power. You get that good thud. The guy screams afterwards, like, ah! It's the best.
Randall, you're not wrong at all. It's about learning how to get that ground in to steal from that into you becoming the coil of the whip, right? So every blow could be that whip, right?
Yeah.
So it comes out of the ground, and it has to. Otherwise, you're not, you're not capable of getting that energy. So as soon as it comes out of either your right leg or your left leg and foot, it comes up into your core and then out through your body. Every blow. So so you are the coil. You're the whip, right? And so the last part of the whip, I think, has to be this part, right?
Yeah,
how you
for
get
sure.
that snap. So.
And yeah, that's the thing is like if you can let this stick do the work, like putting all that muscle into it is just exhausting. It's just
Exactly. It just wears you out.
Yeah, where's your out? It's a lot of work, and you're just standing around huffing and puffing, and your shots aren't better. Your shots are not better when they're not smooth, they're not fluid like that, right? You know, as we say all the time, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. When you can get that fluidity into it, it's going to be a lot less work, and it's going to be a lot more effective. So, all right, Helga, you got some more thoughts?
No, it's actually I don't have thoughts. So I think that we're all seeing relatively the same thing in the video, and so being able to point out how we are seeing it in the video would also help the audience. I feel like all of us have gone over. Your body looks stiff, and it is stealing your power. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No.
And there's a lot of other side effects, and we've gone down a couple different rabbit holes to like where our little neurodivergence like hangs out and looks at. But like,
Correct.
How are you guys seeing this in the video? That way, he can look at the video and see it for himself.
I think he's off his feet. He's too forward. I would also say that he's not breaking the line of his opponent. So if he could step outside the line of his opponent in either direction, would allow him to create space to have his offense actually, kind of develop. So that's kind of my general takeaway, I think. So,
Randall, what are you seeing in the video that is indicating?
I'm sorry?
What are you seeing in the video to indicate your feedback? Like
I don't understand. I'm sorry. I don't understand the question. I'm sorry.
How did you see what you saw?
How did I see
Watching
what
the
I
video,
saw? Oh,
what
from
did
what
you
he was
see?
doing, just watching his stance, and constantly seeing the tip, not threaten. That's to me the number one problem in the video. I think getting that thrust threat involved is going to open up so much stuff for you to do, both with your arms and your feet. You're leaving a lot on the table, and in fact, for that weapons form, you're leaving too much on the table by not having it. Even if you can't do it, if your opponents don't know you can't do it, it still needs to be something on their mind. I don't see how you can successfully fight this weapons form without a thrust threat. I have been wrong before. Yes. I lack imagination, but I can't see it being.
I feel that every fake has to have an authentic, component. Damage, right? A threat. And if it doesn't have that, then they'll never really believe it. So what you have to do is you have to learn, like, okay, so we don't always have to start, in one of these historical, buckler sword forward like this, right? But the thing is that if you have that thrust, like you were saying, and or bring it back until you have a cut, they have to believe it's real. Once you can produce that, your opponent is now they're not in the they're more in the weeds, which we want our opponents in the weeds. We don't want our affecting our ability to create in the moment. So you have to have a safe place that you can stand, which is defending enough and applying your fundamental skills. Right? I hammer on this all the time. Your attack, your defense. Then they, at this moment, they will decide where you need to hit them. Right? So your opponent will move, and then you will then see and react. So I think it's a huge part is to just have comfort in your skills.
Yep. All right, so we're coming up on time here. Ledge, we're gonna let you ask. Do you have any questions? Is there anything we talked about that you don't understand?
No, it seemed like you guys were really clear about everything you were talking about. I'm gonna pick Thorgrim's brain though about the being glute blind because I'm not familiar with that one as much, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, no, it's he and I have been working on that one. We also
I'm sure he'll love it. I'm going to practice right after we're done here, so.
We'll be like, Orion says hi. Also, I got to ask you about this.
All right, so it all makes sense to you. You think you got some stuff for you to work on? Got questions to ask, right?
Yeah. I thank you for the notes. I appreciate them.
For sure. All right, like I said, we're kind of come up on time. Helga, do you have any last minute thoughts? Share with the audience.
I think that both of you guys have a really good opportunity in your videos to look for common things that showed up. So this we can see your stance and sitting down. That's something that you very commonly see in other videos. So take that chunk of information, run with it, start playing with it in your own review, as well as watch for it in others, because that's going to help reinforce when you see it yourself, actually. And then, Lucius, that's the same thing with you, is start looking for in your videos, where it looks like you're bracing, where it looks like you're trying to go pick up a heavy object. That's an indicator of we need to get your body flowing and moving again. It's a really, once you start seeing it in videos, you see it everywhere, just so you know, because heavy fighters want to fight like we're trying to pick up a 50-pound plate off the ground and throw it when we're not actually doing that. And so that's something that I'd start watching for in your videos, because I think that once you start getting flow through your body, you're going to see an acceleration of all the other aspects that got talked about tonight. And it's going to give you the ability to be more mobile, have that point forward, play around with how you're blocking. And that's just going to be your next big thing. But again, you're also going to be able to see that in other people's videos and be able to help them with that feedback as you yourself are growing.
Before I move on to the other guys, Nessa, do you have any other questions about anything we talked about? We good?
No, I'm all good. I'm just thankful for the info.
Wow, cool. All right, Thorfin, you got any last minute thoughts?
So everyone can watch videos of us while we fight. Slow them down. And then look at what is actually happening physically, right? How you're moving, right? Why did this fail, right? So take advantage of this incredible gift we have of thousands of hours of video, and just say to yourself, okay, it's not about my successes, it's about my failures, and then watch them, and you can see what happens. So it's a huge gift. That's all.
All right. Randall, you got any last minute
Yeah,
thoughts?
a couple things. Number one, we can't teach people how to be hungry. So good job for knowing how to be hungry, like, and being vulnerable and willing to put your failures up in front of everybody and get this feedback, get this critiques. It is not everybody does it. And the unbelts who know everything would never do it. And that's why you guys will have a better growth pattern than them. So we can't teach people how to be hungry. And we can't teach people how to be teachable. You guys are on the right path. If you are looking for this knowledge and looking to apply it and looking to make sacrifices, hitting the road, opening yourself up to criticism, it's a slow process, but the process works. And as long as you're trusting it, you're going to see better dividends. And it's going to be fun to watch. I think y'all are on the right path.
Fact.
Yeah, I think,
well said.
I think to kind of piggyback on that, we've been doing this for a couple of years now. Last year we did quite a bit. This year we only did once a quarter. We'll very likely be doing this next year as well. We'll have to see what the timing's like and what we have the capacity for. But keep an eye out on the Coach's Corner discussion group for leads on that. If you want to come on and have us pick apart your videos. Again, the reason we do this with Unbelted Fighters is because a lot of the problems you guys have are going to be applicable to so many other people, and so it is a great service that you are doing. And to kind of pick up on what Randall was talking about, we've over the couple of years we've been doing this. There's been quite a number of people who have been on our show as Unbelted Fighters who are now amongst the chivalry or have won crown. And to Randall's point, that's not us. That's them. That's you guys. That's the people that are willing to make themselves vulnerable, willing to take the instruction from wherever they can, and are willing to do the work after they get done with something like this. And so, while there's been a pretty high success rate, I'd say it's the individuals, it's the people that are putting out that kind of work, and again, that are willing to come on something like this and have us kind of pick things apart. So, again, we say it every time we do this. We cannot thank you enough for coming on and joining us. So, alrighty, I think that's going to do it. Like I said, we're very likely going to do this next year as well. We just have to figure out what the timing on that is going to be, what we have the capacity for. We've done it once a quarter this year. I think that's got pretty well. Once a month was getting to be a lot.
It sure was. Yeah, it's hard to find video.
Like to thank Randall for joining us for his first time on.
Thanks, Randall.
Yeah, I had fun.
Randall's one of our new coaches in the coaching staff here at the Coach's Corner, and he's been putting up a lot of video of his own. For some of the events that he's been doing there. That down view you've got, that's some pretty cool stuff.
Oh yeah, that camera's fun. And I for those who are paying attention, like my trajectory as a fighter, I was knighted when I met Duke Sean, and my trajectory absolutely skyrocketed after 6 hours of working with him. So if a schmuck like me can make it work, I promise you've got the tools. You've got it.
Like I said, you just gotta have the passion for it. You gotta have the hunger for sure.
Took a lot of work.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. And we'll see you next time. And I know we got some episodes coming up. I think next Wednesday we've got one coming up. I think I'm on that one. It's I think me and Tristan and a couple others are going to be talking about what it's like to fight people who are just better than you. So that can be kind of intimidating. So we're going to talk about kind of how to address some of that stuff. So looking forward to that. So we'll see you all next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, next Wednesday, for another episode of Coach's Corner. So thanks again. Everybody have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Keep rock and roll in your
Hi,
house.
everyone. Thank you.